So we're on a whale watch in Holmavik, Iceland this morning. The boat just came into contact with a huge pod of dolphins. They're just jumping out of the water and going nuts. Iceland. That's right, I'm in Iceland right now. It's kind of foggy this morning, but pretty much everything you see down there is Iceland. And I guess everything back here is Iceland too. And if you look up past the fog and the clouds back over there, there's some Iceland glaciers. And there's a farm back there where you can see some wrapped round bales. Over there you can see some pretty little Scandinavian houses. Over there in a former public restroom, they have Iceland's only punk rock museum. This is like one big valley of stuff over here. It's actually so windy right now, my eyes are starting to tear up like I'm watching the end of It's a Wonderful Life. And the reason I came to Iceland is because, which I'm not even sure I can talk about right now. And today, we're gonna be going on a little adventure around Iceland. I figured I'd take you guys with us. So we're currently on our way to catch a ferry. That ferry is going to take us to a little island. That island has some very special residents that we're about to go meet. And I don't know, I'm kind of excited to see this in person because, like, I've seen them in zoos before, but I've never actually seen them in person. It's time to go catch the ferry boat. You know, I gotta admit, after being here for only 2 days, my first impressions of Iceland are, it's a really cool place. It's got this very quiet, chill, desolate vibe to it that I don't know if it's for everybody, but definitely speaks to me. Can you explain to everybody what's going on right now? Like, what's this like weird thing we're in?
Marky, this is a ferry boat. Like, we talk about this weird thing we're in.
I don't know. I don't know if everybody has the context that we just got on a ferry boat.
You literally took footage of the ferry terminal and us getting on the boat. Like, are you trying to make this weird? Why can't you just ask me normal questions?
Like, what would be a normal question to ask?
Hey, Allison, what are we going to do today?
Hey, Allison, what are we going to do today?
Thank you, Morgan, for that wonderful question. We're going to take this here ferry boat to the Westman Island and see the puffins and the belugas.
Which are you more excited about?
Don't make me choose.
Are you nervous about this boat ride?
Very.
Why?
I'm afraid it's going to require barf bags, which I am not in possession of at the moment.
They do have little sleeping cabins. Is that for people who get seasick?
Or people who don't want to stay awake during a 30-minute ferry ride.
So Allison's feeling a little bit seasick here on the boat, so I've been like looking for barf bags. Apparently they have these takeout containers that you can use. So right now we're at this beluga whale and puffin sanctuary. So it's a place where they take like injured puffins and beluga whales and they keep them in here, take care of them and nurse them back to health before letting them go back outside. So we actually saw these when we went whale watching a month or two ago off the coast of Portland, Maine.
It's just a baby puffin. It has little feet. They're majestic babies. They're so tiny, Morgan.
Well, I'm baking some puffin muffins, and I'm cruising through Iceland today. I have charted a course to Vestmannaeyjar, where the puffins all gather and play. I stocked up on some butter in Holavik. Left this morning cause the sheep stew made me sick. Like all the locals here, I chased them round the rocks. With a keen eye sharp, we watch the shifting flocks, and we are baking some puffin muffins. They're so cute and fly, where the puffins all gather. I like to watch them swimming in the water, and jumping from rocks is so funny.
You guys know how there's a weird chicken moment of Zen? Well, please allow me to introduce you to the puffin moment of Zen.
Now, I have to admit, as we were getting ready to go on this trip, I was kind of dreading it. I was worried about all of the changes. I was worried about my farm. I was worried about breaking my routines. But sitting out there with Allison on the cliffs, watching all the puffins, it was kind of, I don't know how else to put it, but therapeutic and relaxing. And it made me entirely glad that we had left our routine and gone on this trip.
So Allison, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for us to go away and leave the farm?
Pretty gosh darn important.
Why is that?
Because life is an adventure, and I like to share life with you, and I want to go on adventures with you.
Yeah. I think it's sometimes hard, though, to get, like, vacation just because I feel so much stress about, like, the farm and leaving the farm. Whenever, like, we leave it, it's actually not that bad, not that stressful, but it's, like, the stress of leaving it. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it drives me insane.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if you remind yourself that it's worth leaving and that you have to get over the discomfort of it and the discomfort of leaving your day-to-day.
Yeah, because it is actually breaking the day-to-day. I think is like the worst part to me.
Yeah, you're a creature of habit.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe this video will be a reminder that it is okay to sometimes break that routine.
It really is important because I feel like if you're always just doing the same thing day to day, you're missing opportunities for growth and new ideas, and you can't really just experience the world through books and reading and stuff like that. Like, I feel like driving around here, you've been doing things like looking at the sheep and wondering, okay, why are the sheep scattered around the way they are, and how do they manage the water, and what do people do for activities here? You know, you have to think about the world and how other people live and ideas that other people have, and then it makes you think about your own life. It makes you think of ideas in a way that you otherwise wouldn't.
I feel like my zone is getting too comfortable, and so it's like I've got to work harder to break out of it.
Yeah, well, I think you made such a big change to move up to Vermont that now you're almost kind of resting on your laurels with like, okay, well, I did the hard thing, and you don't really want to do the other hard things of being like, okay, I got to be a husband who goes on vacation and thinks about doing
other changes
and taking on new recreational things that one can do. You know, you can't just be like, okay, I made one big change, now all my changes in life are over. It's not like you've fulfilled your quota of personal growth for your life.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. This is quite a nice reminder of that.
Yeah.
All right, should we go get some coffee?
We had a lot of fun hanging out on the Westman Islands, and if anybody ever has the chance to go, it is absolutely worth the day trip. But with our day on the island done, it was time to hop back onto our ferry and head back to Iceland, which I guess technically speaking is the mainland here.
This is so natural, wow.
So what was your review of the Westman Islands?
Puffins, 10 out of 10. Beluga whales, Also 10 out of 10.
Now, I know some of you guys might be worried about who's taking care of the farm and our animals, but do not worry because it's all under control. Our friends Paul and Olivia are actually farm sitting for us right now, taking care of everybody. And in fact, they even made a video of them doing chores. And so if you want to check that out, you can take a look right here. The boat just came into contact with a huge pod of dolphins. It's crazy. I've never seen this many dolphins in the wild like this, where they're just jumping out of the water and going nuts. I think they're actually following the wake of our boat. It's pretty gosh darn exciting. Usually when you're seeing dolphins like this and you're seeing this many dolphins, you always have to think that there's like usually for every one dolphin that's on the surface, there's like 5 or 6 down below. So I don't know, we could be going through like hundreds of dolphins right now, which is totally insane. I don't know about you guys, but I have never ever seen this many humpback whales in like one spot. It's crazy to just see them come up out of the water this close to the water and just like go down. And you know, usually they'll like spend a couple of minutes kind of hanging out up at the surface, and then they'll like go up and you'll see their tail go up and then it goes down, and then that's them diving down deep to go feed like down below, because whales, they're like, they have baleen, so they're like basically filtering water through, and that's how they're eating. They don't like have teeth, like they're not chomping and chewing on something like a dolphin would. So the humpback whales are typically diving down and like scooping up big schools of fish and like water, and they're using their baleen, which is this like filtery, masky stuff. It's really interesting to like look at, and it takes a heck of a lot of calories to feed a whale the size of a humpback whale. And so they have to eat a lot, and they have to do this up and down activity a lot, but that is how they feed themselves. The interesting thing is people don't really know exactly how humpback whales are able to identify where the food is. They don't have sonar, and so there's some thoughts that maybe what they're doing is using smell to identify where the food is. And so that's how they're figuring out when and where to dive to scoop up those schools of fish and other stuff. So you're able to identify a humpback whale based on the markings on its tail, whether you're looking at the notches or the coloring. Judith, who's our guide, and she took us out here with the captain on this whale tour, she says she's seen like 256 different whales that she's been able to identify and like capture all the markings. And I don't know, that's pretty incredible. And that's, I don't know, it's a lot of time logged looking at whales. So now you might be seeing all of this with dolphins and whales just swimming around everywhere, and it just seems like Iceland is this incredible mecca for whales, and Iceland must be the best country in the world when it comes to whales. But the crazy thing is, whaling is actually still legal here inside Iceland, and despite almost overwhelming popular sentiment to ban the practice in the country, it still persists. So it's legal to still whale in Iceland?
Yes, unfortunately, but it is starting to get to the stage where hopefully it's not going to be legal for much longer. So it is still legal to hunt minke whales and fin whales here in Iceland. Most Icelandic people are now against whaling, and we hope that maybe when a new government comes in next year, there's an election, there's a chance the whaling might end in Iceland.
It's incredible to see just how many whales there are specifically in this one spot. Like, what brings them all here?
But I mean, honestly, you were lucky. It's not always this many whales, so please don't promise to everybody.
Excuse me, ma'am, can I ask you a few questions about your experiences with whales?
Sure.
How would you rate this experience on the whale trip?
10 out of 10.
Yeah, what was your favorite part?
The whales and the dolphins and the puffins.
So compare this to American whaling tours.
It's much colder, and there are many more whales.